Geographically speaking, India and Bangladesh are so close. So, for most of the years, Bangladesh had no other option than to depend on India economically, yes, but in terms of policies also. Most of the policies, especially relating to controlling the waterways of Bangladesh, were heavily in favor of India. This is what I want to talk about today. How these policies or protocols or treaties between Bangladesh and India favor mostly India in terms of logistics and cargo, but heavily affects the coastal area communities and the families living in the border areas. To talk about this, I'm going to be in conversation with the professor and dean of School of Business and Economics, Dr. Warasul Karim. Dr. Warasul Karim, thank you so much for joining us. I want you to please begin with painting a picture for us on how the policies and protocols signed between India and Bangladesh actually favor India more in terms of logistics and sidelines Bangladeshi coastal and border communities even more.
Very pertinent, very important, timely question. Um, what happened here? If you look at the background of these agreements, of these so-called contracts or treaties between India and Bangladesh, they have not been done at an arm's length. In commercial law, we say that in order to make the most out of a contract, it is important that you enter the contract at an arm's length, assuming both parties are equal. So Bangladesh may be smaller in size, smaller economy than that of India, but diplomatically and as a country to country, government to government, we never, for over the last 54 years, I would say, India had never actually treated Bangladesh with the utmost equality or equity that they are signing a contract with Bangladesh. So what happened with the Tista Barrage Agreement, Ganges Agreement, 1996, and even before that, Farakka, well, I mean, we share the same, India and us, we share the same, many, I think more than 100 joint rivers. So it is just a matter of time that you know India and Bangladesh must learn to live together and must learn to work alongside each other on sharing these natural resources, especially water and land borders and airspace and water transport, shipping, on so many issues. So when they first signed the 24 so-called 25-year agreement, I think back in 1975 or seven, I mean during the first government's regime, there were many clauses that Bangladesh didn't really, as an independent sovereign country, you wouldn't sign up for those. Then that expired in around 1996, and then we entered into a new water treaty. In the middle, there was a treaty on Farakka between when late President Ziaur Rahman was in power. So he succeeded in getting some, what we call, guarantee clause to get about 33,000 cubic water. So we still remember those when we were school students. But fast forward to what we are facing today. In the last 15 years, on one occasion, I'm not sure. I'm sure you know, but maybe I'm not sure if your viewers know that on one occasion there was a transit between Bangladesh and India to give India a so-called favor, so unequal and so unfair that India built a road across a river. So they didn't care to build a bridge. So you block the water flow, you block the course of water, the course of a river, and then so they built a road, and then trucks and buses and other the transports were traveling across, flying across.
And Dr. Karim, it's so actually interesting and also important that you spoke about, border protocols and how the laws are actually so strict in terms of curfews and shoot-on-sight orders. I was reading a report which said that Bangladeshi fishermen and also, communities and families living on the border areas are actually scared to carry out daily tasks
Yeah.
because they don't know how the opposite team's forces are going to respond in terms of Indian border force I'm talking about over here. Is it really that bad in those areas?
It is. It is. I mean, you have to experience it, and anyone who hasn't experienced, who hasn't gone through the severity of the of the relationships and of the treatments. What happens, like Bay of Bengal is the, the bread and butter for many people's lives. It is their livelihood. They take enormous risks of their lives, their families, to go out fishing, and then India occasionally obstructs it, and occasionally they don't give any adequate notice, and the accused person, the person who is kidnapped, they call it arrest, but occasionally, according to international standards, it would be in many cases equivalent to kidnapping. So we see on newspaper that our fishermen are kidnapped, our farmers are kidnapped, sometimes the small tradespeople, and sometimes even ordinary civilians. So shooter site is have been at the top of the kind of atrocities. So it is very what do you call warlike for many peoples. When the rest of the country is officially peacetime, we are good neighbors, but I, I think the greater political and diplomatic subversion and subjugation of Bangladesh for decades may be responsible for this. And our governments have never, even the current government, sometimes, although they are theoretically they want to exercise independent foreign policy, but even they don't have the guts to stand up for the people.